Alright, well, as you can see, yesterday I stopped at one of my local electronics, well, not really electronic stores, but partially an electronic store, local London Drugs, which is only here in Canada. And they have a pretty good electronics section. They have a pretty wide variety of different electronic items and computer items, whatever. And I went out and I got a thing of DVDs, blank DVDs, DVD minus R, and a blank VHS tape, which you can still get at the local London Drugs. It's about the only place that still sells them for about $7 a tape. A lot of people still buy these as a backup data thing. So if they need like a backup drive to store their data on, they use a VHS tape, put the data on the tape. And there's a very limited stock of them. There's only like 2 left. I grabbed one. I was gonna grab 2, and I said I might as well grab one. I only need one for the video, which will be on this Hitachi 2800A fully automatic / artificial intelligence. There's nothing all that artificial intelligence about it, at least in my opinion. There isn't. But got a VHS tape, and I got this a couple weeks ago at the local Source electronics store in the mall. This external DVD drive for the MSI laptop that I have. And when I was at the local electronics store yesterday, I treated myself to a little something that I came across, which is what this video is going to be on. The camera will be in a different video. That'll be probably a premiere on Saturday at 1600 UTC. I'm hoping to get that out by, and I'll film the video tomorrow. That'll be the reason I'm going to make it a premiere is it'll probably be a hell of a long video. It'll be long enough to make it a premiere. It'll probably be so bloody long with all the details and everything going into that video. I don't really have the time today to do the video. Today is Thursday, and I'm supposed to have a video up. I'm hoping to have this video up today at 2 hours UTC, 7 o'clock local. So I came across this at the local London Drugs electronics store. This Borne portable AM FM shortwave radio, and I did kind of partially unbox it already. I guess, like all of us radio hobbyists, when we get a new radio, we can't resist. Okay, so Borne portable AM FM shortwave radio with alarm clock, digital display, digital tuner, model number PR1230SW. So PR1230 shortwave. Got 12 shortwave bands, so shortwave from 1 to 10. And I read on the when I opened it to take a peek at the radio, I read on the back of the radio that the shortwave spectrum of this radio goes from, I believe, 3 kilohertz to 21 megahertz, something like that. So, of course, this wasn't too hard. I just put it back in the bubble wrap packaging, plastic wrapping, because it was already open when I opened the box, so it was just easy to slip back in. And keep in mind, I haven't fully tested it and taken a full look at it yet. I just tested it on FM, a couple FM stations, and that was it. You can tell, of course, I put batteries in it already. It just takes a couple AA batteries. I had no batteries when I unboxed it, so I just put a couple AA batteries in there. That's all it takes. And I forgot to grab the Eton satellite. I go back in the house and grab that here right away. I was gonna do a comparison, or maybe I could do that in a separate video, I don't know. But I think I'll do this in the same video. I'll compare this Borne shortwave radio, I'll get it in frame there, that would help. This Borne AM FM shortwave radio to the Eton satellite. I don't think it'll compare at all to the Eton satellite. The Eton satellite will obviously be much better. I mean, the Eton satellite was $150 to $200, something like that, and this is only $30. So you obviously know what the comparison's gonna come out like. This is gonna be crappy compared to the shortwave a lot. This will be very crappy, obviously, compared to the Eton satellite. So there you go. You see the shortwave 1 to 10. It goes from 3 megahertz to 23 kilohertz. So it goes from 3 megahertz to 21.85 megahertz, as you can see in the back there. AM, of course, goes from 520 to 1710 kilohertz, which is the start of the shortwave band. Actually, the start of the shortwave band is 1711 kilohertz. And FM, of course, goes from 87 to 108 megahertz. So, or 8.7 to 87 to 108 megahertz. Very tired today. Excuse the stumbling of my speech. It does have a nice, like the Eton side, it has a nice little kickstand. You can prop it up on the back side like that. Nice clock on the front. And a nice amber colored backlight, kind of like the Eton satellite in the Eton field. There's CBC music. So your little volume knob on the side, the right hand side. It's a very small radio compared to, well, I wouldn't say very small, but it's small compared to the Eton satellite. It's about 3-4 inches tall, maybe 5-6 inches wide, 7 inches wide, something like that. The antenna's not very overly long either. It's maybe about 15 inches, 20 inches long. That's not very long for a shortwave radio, of course. Typically with the shortwave radio, we get a longer aerial on the radio. Of course, these two stations are very strong here locally because I just live just a little less than 2 kilometers away from the local FM transmission tower. I'm going to shut the lights off here so you can see the backlight. You can on the orange kind of backlight. Shut this one off. The overhead 500 watt lamp here. So, hit any button here. There you go. It's kind of an amber, yellowish looking kind of backlight. So it's kind of nice to have. I'll keep the fluorescent lights off because, of course, they cause a 60 cycle hum on the radio. Because I put the fluorescent lights here in the garage. It's a pain in the ass for having those kind of lights in the garage. It interferes with the radio. That's why I use this 500 watt construction lamp to film instead of using these fluorescent lights, because they cause so much hum noise on the radio because there's 60 hertz or 60 cycles. You can see how far the 90.1 CBC French spreads here because I'm so close to it. And this little aerial here, this little 15-20 inch aerial is probably picking up a lot of overload. Especially for the size of the aerial, it would get a lot more. You see it bleeds into other stations there. And of course you got the scan function. And you got channel 1 to 4 here. I guess that's for if you want to program your different radio channels, your favorite radio channels. If you want to go ahead and say you want to program 4 of your favorite radio channels in there, you can. Say if I want to program 5850 WMRMI to channel 1, I guess I could do that somehow. I'm guessing that's what it is. Keep in mind I haven't taken a full look at this radio yet. It's the first time I'm taking a full look at it. It comes with the manual here in like 3 different languages. We got English, French, and Spanish. I don't know what they'd have Spanish here. A Spanish manual for, especially in Canada. There's not much Spanish. They usually just give out the English and the French, and it's all in one manual, and it's like a double-sided manual type thing. So that's usually what happens with over the border production. It's probably produced in the U.S. and then they get shipped over the border to Canada to get produced to certain low-key electronic stores. I guess I wouldn't say a lot of people locally I know say that London Drugs is a very good electronic. So anyways, here's the English manual. Anyway, so here's the manual, and give a quick overview here of the features, the settings, blah blah blah. If I can get the damn thing open. Zoom the camera out. So this shows you the display, the different display functions. So you got a scan indicator, signal strength bar up in the corner. Do you guys see that? Oh yeah, I see that right there. It's hard to see, but it's there. I didn't notice that, so that's handy. Like a signal strength S meter, and well, not really an S meter, but hold that frame there. We got, oh, wrong side. The FM band indicator, that's there. Shortwave band indicator, battery indicator, frequency time, AM frequency indicator, sleep function indicator, AM time, AM band indicator, blah 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 blah. Alarm indicator, you can set an alarm clock. This radio will also run off 3 volts DC. I have a 3 volt adapter for the Eton satellite around here somewhere behind the big Nordmende Fidelio. Fell behind there somewhere. And I propped up the camera, I'll have to look for it. Doesn't give you much for this is spectrums. The radio frequency specifications. So there's the frequency range. Listening to the shortwave radio, press the power button on the radio. Press the band selector button to switch it to shortwave mode. You'll see shortwave band indicator icon on display screen. Use the up and down button to select your desired shortwave station. I don't particularly like the radios that have a push button for tuning. I like to have a knob on the side. Like maybe it'd be nice if this was a tuning knob where I could just go like that and whip through stations real quick. Surf through stations. That's what I love when I get that on the radio. I don't particularly like the push buttons. I find them annoying and sometimes a pain in the ass because it takes so long. Say you're going from there's the direct current 3 volt power input there, and headphone jack on the side. I should turn that off so I don't waste the battery. But hopefully the copyright ID won't pick that up. I left that on for a while I was talking. I didn't have the radio loud enough and it was pretty distorted with other signals, so I don't think it'll pick it up. I'd be surprised if it did. Say when I'm at like 2 megahertz or something like that and I want to get all the way up to 5850, listen to WRMI, but I don't know, maybe this one does the same thing, but with the Eton satellite you can hold down the push button, the scan button, and it'll scan all the way really quick to 5850, which I like. I don't know about this one, most radios they don't. You just have, some radios they don't, you just you have to keep pushing the button until you get there, which is annoying and it takes for frickin' ever, which a lot of radio hobbyists hate, as we all know. It also gives you a diagram for use of the antenna for AM, for FM, AM, and shortwave. Of course, you only use the the telescopic antenna for AM, for FM and shortwave. Sorry, AM is an AM bar antenna already built in inside, usually on the back side behind here. I'm guessing. You could open it up and take a look at it. I have to say, this would be a good travel pocket radio if I want to take a good. I mean, it doesn't cover the full spectrum, which I prefer it cover the full spectrum. I do take my Icon satellite for travel, which is really nice. I don't think that I will use this one. There's a sleep function. Sleep function, while radio is off, press and hold the power button until you see 10 flashing on the screen. Press the power button to cycle through the number of minutes you desire to have the radio on, or before it sets off. When the sleep function is set, you will see the setup function indicator icon on the display screen. So, let's see if I can figure out how to set the alarm here. That's what I'm kind of interested. One of the features I'm interested in. This band. So I'm at AM now.
Have led to increased fear and anxiety, isolation, disruption to in-person services, job. And made that donation. Thank you very, very much. And we know the economy is.
Doesn't sound too bad on AM. The speaker is, of course, speaker's what, like a 2-inch, 3-inch speaker?
Year and a half, 2 years.
So you won't get that great of sound quality, of course.
And we're hearing today that it's a marathon, not a sprint. That is from ATB Financial about Alberta's
so
recovery. As you heard,
the alarm function is your son on the manual. Stand by. Well, I try to take an hour to friggin' find the right direction. That's friggin' usual. Here we go, setting the alarm. Note: the alarm indicator on the display screen must be on prior to setting the alarm function. To turn on and off the alarm indicator icon on the display, press the alarm function button. While radio is off and the alarm indicator is on, displayed on the display. By the way, I'm using this. I'm finally going to try. If you notice a change in the resolution in the videos, there's like bars on. There's like vertical lines in the video or whatever, vertical line glitching kind of thing. I've been using the Sony Handycam to film these videos. What happens when I put it through the editor on the computer, it shrinks the picture down to 4:3, and I gotta stretch it back out to 16:9. And it's still in 1080p, but you get these weird vertical lines in the video. I don't know if you all have noticed that, but I have. Maybe let me know in the comments down below. Okay, the radio has to be off, which is what they said. What they're saying in the manual, and if I hold down on the up button, the 6, which is this button number 6 indicated on the manual, which is this button. Okay. And then I wonder how you use the up and down buttons to set the alarm time, press time, adjust button to toggle between hours and minutes. I wonder if you use the volume button. Like the volume. Nope. So hold down on there and press one of the up or down buttons to toggle with it. Okay, I got this figured out. So the band button is when you have the radio off, is the time adjust button. And I was hitting the up and down, the up arrow button. Whoop! I accidentally took a screenshot on my phone. I'm trying to get the time, the clock up here. 2:14 p.m. And what I accidentally did is, what I was doing is I was hitting the up arrow button, which is the alarm function. So, okay, now it's off. So I know that. What that's for now. So, band, and then hit it again. And it's what time? 2:14. And then I guess I just hit. So I always like to put my clocks 2 minutes ahead. So there we go, 2:16 p.m. So that's how that's how you set the clock. So you hit the band button. You hit the band button once to get the clock set function, to turn that on. Then you use the up and down arrow buttons to change the hour, then you hit the band button again to go to the minute to change the minute, and you use the up and down arrow buttons. So, you know how that function works now. Took me long enough to bloom and figure that out. Okay, so we'll get back to the alarm function later. I want to keep looking at the radio function and maybe look at this. We'll go ahead and look at this scan, store, station, preset buttons. So if I want to find the station to listen to, turn on the radio. Turn on your radio and select your desired radio band. Okay, I'm at shortwave now. Shortwave 1 goes to... They really chopped up the shortwave spectrum here on this radio for whatever reason. I'm not sure why they did that. You can hear it. You hear how weak it is? So let's just put this down here. Back the camera out. Turn this down. And we'll compare this little piece of junk here to this, to my FM. The hell am I trying to say? My Anton Field shortwave radio. My good radio, which is hooked up to the MLA 30 loop antenna outside, which isn't really a fair comparison. That's 15, go back up to 10. Now take a listen to this. You can hear just how crappy that sounds. Well, that's not bad there. It's in there. I mean, this radio would definitely work pretty well if there was good enough band conditions. You would definitely get shortwave stuff on shortwave, but not near as good as the Eton Field or the Eton Satellite. Okay, so enough of the comparison. Now I'll get to the channel store function. So it's just doing it on its own right now. I'm not sure why they would give you an automatic station store preset function. Why you wouldn't just be allowed to do it to your, why you can just do it yourself manually and save your own stations. Why you let the radio. And see, this often with radios when they scan for stations like that, it's always off on 90.1 and 90.9 because of how far the signal spreads across the FM band, because I'm so close, like I said, and it's a lot stronger when you're like less than 2 kilometers away from the FM broadcast tower, so it's often, so it's supposed to be right there. 91.7, which is also off the local FM broadcast.
The sweaty earthiness or the earthy.
I actually did it twice. So I'm not sure why they manufactured it to scan the store stations for you automatically. That doesn't really make sense to me. And why they wouldn't do that manually? They wouldn't manufacture so that function was a manual function where you can just choose your own stations and set them into the preset or whatever. Store your own stations, so you could just press 1 to 4 and tune right away to your favorite station or whatever. but I mean, I guess in a way it does kind of make sense, because this radio is hard to scan through with these buttons, so you just let it scan it yourself, let the radio scan to the band itself, so you don't have to struggle with hitting these buttons. It'll take you so friggin' next Christmas.
Officials and First Nations leaders.
It's 740 CBC Radio 1, Edmonton.
Take next steps for
840 is a little bit weaker. But what do you expect for, if it's crappy on shortwave, it's going to be crappy on AM, so.
The latest forecast from ATB.
Those of us that for the day.
iNews
A
880.
little tomorrow, more with Jesse Byer.
Forget that the humans in our house want to have
930 The Light, religious station.
Yeah. And so I'm guessing your wife.
If you want to get a good shortwave radio, I would not recommend this at all. That's for sure. Quality. Here you go. Time is the same as setting the clock, as mentioned above. So it's the same thing as setting the clock. So alarm function on. Hold down on band. We'll go down to 2 p.m. What time is it now? It is 2:45. I'll just say 2:48. I'm gonna set the alarm for. It's 2:46 right now, and the alarm will go off. I know somehow. I guess the alarm would obviously. The alarm going off obviously sets the radio off. So there you go, like I said, it sets off the radio, that's the alarm function. There's the sleep function. So when the radio's off, you hold down on the now to get out of that, I don't know. No. So that's the sleep function. So you can set it to, you can set the radio to sleep mode for however long you want. You go through the cycle of numbers, which I guess means how many minutes. Alright, I'm back out. It's 7:34 local, or 7:33 local. That clock's a minute ahead because I set it a minute ahead. I always set my clocks a minute or two ahead than my phone. 2 hours, 34 minutes UTC, and the propagation is a bit better right now. It's later, a little later in the evening, and like I said, that's when propagation is a bit better. I got pulled out the Eton satellite for comparison. You can already see the size comparison. This is quite a bit smaller than the Eton satellite. And I was just checking propagation real quick on the Eton field over here. Turn it on, 5850. It's booming and pretty good. I guess they bump up the power this time of year. They're using a little more power this fall than they did this summer.
Such as 15035.8 instead of 15034 USB, both at 1428 and 2125 checks. The night frequency is only 0.8 kilohertz off, 6754.8 instead of 6754.0.
That's Glenn Hauser, as you can hear. I don't know why it jumped to Glenn Hauser all of a sudden. It was Brother Stair just a couple of minutes going 5850, and all of a sudden it jumped to to Glen Hauser. Went from Broster to Glen Hauser all of a sudden. I don't know why they use more power in the fall than they do the winter on 5850. I mean it's this time of year I'll get VORW in a lot stronger at 8 p.m. Mountain, 10 p.m. Eastern here. So go ahead and turn this on, and the 10 is very quiet right now, so
Trudeau hits the...
I don't like that I can't. Get back to the beginning here. Of course there's a lot of noise. We'll set that to scan. So we're at 3.9.
Ambasadas Internacional, both Venezuelan stations owned by the same people in Barinas.
We're scanning now. You can see the Eton satellite is obviously a lot faster than it seems to.
Twice as many homeless people as usual.
The Eton satellite has been skipping more stations in the automatic band scan more recently than it has.
To 5,000 citizens without a home. The ongoing COVID-19.
Closing 4 hours earlier. When that is on, the DRM jamming totally obscures any Cuban response. However, this shows that the commies...
Oh, I shut that off by accident. What am I doing? Damn. So we're gonna approach 5850 here, so... Shit. That's the thing in my life is when... That's pissing me off because... I'm just at 5850, but... 5850 I can stop this band scan at the frequency that it lands on. At the frequency I see it land on 5050. 5050. Try that again. So when I see it land on 5850, I can just hit the arrow up and down, one of the up and down arrow keys again and stop it. But I can't with this because if I hit one of the keys, it goes right back to the beginning of the spectrum, which is freaking annoying. You hear it there. So for comparison, go 5 here, 5 megahertz. You can hear it there, I'm not getting to hear it all. Oh yeah, man. All of the noise doesn't help. If I go here to the MLA loop.
The story of the local newspaper in Coke.
It's coming in pretty good.
Republic. It's something binding. You have to do everything to keep the idea going.
So that's the Eton field. I should get this in frame more.
Brian Kennedy with Flash Report.
And here's the Borne.
Website Amazing Places has set itself an ambitious goal.
Notice when I take my hand off it gets noisier, and when I put my hand back on.
The team of young enthusiasts creating the list have combed the country for the most magical places there are to be found, from cozy wooden cottages, mills, exceptional apartments and hotels which offer quality services.
That's another thing that annoys me about shortwave radios that I haven't had any experience with in a long time because I have good shortwave radios here, but I used to have this experience with the realistic DX66 a little bit. In the old Grundig M400, little portable handheld pocket radio. Let's go in here.
Carrying the Shortwave or sea breeze transmissions about North Korean abductions. At 13 to 14 years old, 6040 and 6090, replacing 5920 and 6070. English, of course, only on Thursdays. And repeat it, 16 UT on 5980 and 655 and 7325. And the other broadcast actually reads station service.
So that's one thing that's a pain about this radio is you gotta have your hand on it for the shortwave signal to come through.
October 8th, before 14 UT, I had a weak talk signal on 16, which is being reported.
Now it's there again.
Reception from the West Coast, such as from Dan Sheen. September 29th, 1347, past 1410.
That's just a pain, yeah, but if I put, and I don't have to connect it to anything, I just put up a little higher here, down there. Okay, well that's touching the clip, and if I let it go, let's try the MLA 30 here. I gotta get this off. MLA 30 loop. I don't actually, in the summertime, I unplug it and disconnect it from the radio, just in case it thunderstorms, in case it gets hit by lightning. In the winter, I don't do that, because I don't have to worry about that as much.
Namely about 711.27 and 728.73.
So that's the MLA 30 loop antenna, and like I expected, the signal does get stronger, but there's overload, and with portable receivers like this, there's quite often overload with external antennas. I think mainly with external antennas. Yeah, it's on field, does the same thing. If I put it on 10 megahertz and I clip the clip lead to up here.
Accompanied by the usual atmospheric noise of crash.
Well, actually 10 megahertz is quiet. I'll go 5. You can't really tell because 10 megahertz is dead, but at least right now.
Being run by Hope Radio out of West Virginia, starting November 1st.
And that's the Aton satellite. Was that the MLA? No real difference. 5980. I can't really put my finger on what station it is right now. I can't think of it at the moment. That's the MLA 30 loop plugged in now.
broadcast radio teletype on 4895, or usually there is none, but missing from 4985, which is NSS, and up heard the higher frequency for Radio Brasil Central. So I had a Listex operator mixed up the digits and punching up the frequency.
There's 6 kilohertz. 6 kilohertz. I don't want to make this video too long, of course. I mean, you get the point. I don't have to tune the whole spectrum. You get the point. So. That's 90.1 FM, causing overload. I'm getting some sort of weird clicking noise, causing some kind of interference. I'm not sure what that is. It's something the MLA is picking up. I don't know what that is. And there's another sort of noise. I have no idea what that is. It's worse here. This one picks up a lot more RF noise. Of course, it doesn't have a. It's a digital. See, I gotta put my hand on it to get the. So there's Radio Romania International, that's the call sign. Or not the call sign, the interval signal, sorry. Call sign. What the hell's with my speech today? I can't...
Hello ladies, gentlemen, and everyone listening to today's newest broadcast of VORW Radio International. Going out to you Thursday the 8th of October, 2020, newest show coming your way. We're going out to you today on the International Shortwave at 99.55 kilohertz, 93.95 kilohertz, 77.80, 59.50, 58.50 kilohertz, all these frequencies for North America.
I might actually just keep that beside the radio as a clock. I mean, it's not a UTC clock, but for local time, that's kind of handy. Anyways, so that's that for this video. But anyways, yeah, if you're looking for a good shortwave radio, buy something like an Eton satellite, or you can buy a XH data Texan, something that's a good quality shortwave radio. Maybe even I saw a few eBay listings for Grundig M400, or even Eton Field. That's even cheaper. Not the Eton Field, that's more expensive. The Eton Mini. The new Eton Mini, which is the new version of the Grundig M400. I saw reviews on that, and it's apparently a wicked handheld shortwave radio. It's apparently really good. Anyways, yeah, that's the review. Would not recommend. If you want a shortwave radio, go get a better quality shortwave radio than the Borne. Stay the hell away from the Borne stuff. We'll see you in the next video. The next video will be Saturday, the big video for the week, which will be actually premiere. I think I'm going to end up premiering it because it's probably going to be so bloody long. With all the with all the details and it going in depth quite a bit. So it'll be a very detailed, in-depth video. So stay tuned for that Saturday, 1600 UTC. It should be. Stay tuned. New videos coming soon. We'll see you in the next one. 73's all. Take care. Stay safe.